Welcome to WrestleRecap. I am Dylan Graives, joined by John Sutton, bringing you the Smackdown Recap. We ended up taking about a week off from videos or recaps, because it got too difficult to schedule recordings with each other. So rather than release outdated recaps, we just skipped over them and are jumping into this one. If you want to support WrestleRecap, you can like, share, and subscribe. You can comment down below, let us know how we're doing. But with that being said, let's get into it. Alright, so SmackDown kicks off with a flashback to AJ Styles' fake retirement last week, which, of course, we did not cover in a video. I'm assuming that you still watched it, though.
Yes.
That's all you got?
Wait, hold, what? No, sorry, I was doing something.
AJ's fake retirement last week.
Oh yeah, I watched that. That was very predictable.
Yeah, I mean, it was the story of the night. They built the whole show around it, and it just kind of felt like it was gonna be
Mark
fake, like
Henry-esque.
a fake thing. Yeah, it was very much so the Mark Henry model. The only thing missing was the salmon jacket.
Yep. It was a light color though.
It was. Everyone's talking about how he should have wore salmon. It's like, I mean, that would have made it very obvious of what was happening. But he did go with like a
Lighter color.
yeah. He went with like baby blue, with a
Yep.
lighter color to be the
And I
blue
will
shade
say
of that shade of pink.
There was no like Mark's had emotion behind it, so it felt authentic. AJ was just kind of like, I'm done.
Well, and if I remember
like,
right, Mark Henry's just kind of came out of nowhere,
yeah.
whereas AJ's
But he was old enough to
came.
where people would believe it.
I mean, so was AJ.
But obviously Mark Henry was in the WWE a lot longer. That's why people are like, yeah, okay, he deserves it. I
Yeah,
mean, not
but
to say AJ doesn't either, but
people know how old AJ is.
yeah.
And also something that's going to have to be talked about, which we'll get to relatively shortly. Yeah, I'll just save it for that rather than bring it up now and be like, actually, we're going to talk about it later. We'll just keep cracking on, and when we get to there, we'll talk about it.
We get there when we get there.
Yeah. So right away, the Bloodline comes out to the ring. I noted that Paul Heyman doesn't want to be there. He says that Solo is the head of the table until Roman returns, and the crowd chants, "We want Roman," as they've been doing pretty much since the week after Mania. Paul Heyman announces that Tama Tonga is now known as Tama Tonga, the right-hand man, a title formerly given to one main event Jey Uso.
Feeling oozy.
Yeah, Solo's feeling oozy. That's his happy face.
He always has a happy face on.
Oh, yeah. Heyman goes to acknowledge the anointment, so to say, whatever they're doing here, of Tonga Loa, and he starts to call him a gentleman, but then stops himself and stumbles a little bit from stopping himself before just calling him a man. Solo looks back at Heyman like, you did not just do that. Just the subtlety. But we're told that Tonga Loa is now a full-fledged member of the Bloodline. So apparently for the past month, he's just been a hang-around or a prospect.
He's just been around.
Yeah, he's just been a prospect, but now he's full member. He's prospecting for his family. Now they finally let him be a full member of the family.
Born into.
Technically not. The Tongans are adopted.
What's wrong with adopted people? You got something against that?
Nothing's wrong with being adopted. They're just not.
You're damn right.
Born into it, as you said. You said they were born into it. They were not born into it. They were adopted into it.
He's much just a like brother from another mother. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Hey, at least most parents don't get to pick their kids. They're just stuck with them. Your parents chose you.
Yeah, then the second day, they're like, actually, can you take him back? Is there a return policy within the first 30 days?
Actually, you know what? Pass.
What's the warranty on these things? I want a full refund.
What's the return policy like? Put the thing back where it came from, or so help me.
Barcode on the head, on my top of my head.
Now you can be like the Costco guy with the chicken that's got the barcode on his shirt because he doesn't want the scanner across his chicken, so he rather takes it to the chest instead.
Yeah.
So much better. Paul Heyman finishes up that, and he tells the crowd thank you and good night, and proceeds to be ready to walk away until Solo stops him and asks if he's forgetting something. And Heyman just kind of mumbles to himself, mentioning Tama as the right-hand man, Loa's a full-fledged member, and he's like, haven't forgotten anything. At this point, we get the classic Solo sucks chants. And Solo says that Heyman should be thanking them for saving him from Kevin Owens last week. And then Tama leans in and says that they could have let Kevin Owens kill him, but they saved him by orders of the tribal chief. And who is the tribal chief?
Who?
Certainly.
Tongaloa.
Nah, it's not Tongaloa. It's the
Santino.
Rock. It's the Rock. Oh, dude, Santino being the tribal chief would be great.
Bruh,
I would love that.
Change him to a mob boss since he's Italian. Oh,
dude, you just gave me a brilliant idea.
Brilliantao.
Santino joins the family.
The family.
The D'Angelo family in NXT. I mean, Santino's daughter is already in NXT.
Isn't Santino in, Ring of... Not
TNA.
Ring of Honor, but
he's
TNA.
the authority figure for TNA.
Yeah.
And you know who's now got a working relationship with NXT? TNA.
Yeah. Wait, didn't you say who... Oh, I didn't say who has a working relationship with TNA, and then you proceeded to say TNA?
NXT.
Oh. I was like, what
Did I say TNA?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I said NXT.
We'll go with NXT. You'll find out in the edits later.
Yeah, I'll find out later. Paul Heyman says that KO wants a piece of every member of the bloodline. And, since he said his name, Kevin Owens has to come out. There's another wrestler that if you say his name, he'll appear. But we don't cover that show. So, if you know, you know. And I'm sure that you don't know.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. Unless you watch TNA, which I know you don't. Anyway, Kevin Owens comes out and he charges the ring and he takes the fight to him, but the numbers game is too much for him to overcome. Eventually, the Street Profits come in to aid Kevin Owens, and they fight off the bloodline and stand tall. Just foreshadows that they're going to lose later. We then see, once again, we're backstage and we see Cody. This time we're actually told more so of what's going on instead of just showing Cody pacing back and forth. He's waiting for AJ Styles to arrive. And then we're shown that Jade and Bianca are heading towards, gorilla position at the moment, but they'll be up next after the commercial break. When we come back from the break, Paul Heyman is walking, and Solo asks where he's going and if he's trying to leave. Heyman says no, but he definitely was. Solo tells him to get a 6-man tag match for them against Kevin Owens and the Street Profits for tonight, or else the main event is going to be Paul Heyman versus Tama Tonga in the locker room. And, of course, Heyman wants no part of this. In the closing moment of this segment, we get the, I think it's the Nightbird is what they're calling it now. The Nightbird tease, basically for the Wyatt Six.
Boring.
Yeah, I mean, they already had their work cut out for them, and I've said this before, but they had their work cut out for them already trying to live up to Bray Wyatt's legacy. But now they're filling the group with relatively failed stars, and they lost the Fireflies to Jey Uso.
And they're taking so goddamn long.
Yeah, they're taking the piss out of it. But Jade and Bianca come out, and Jade actually looks kind of irritated, I noted, during the entrance. Like, Bianca's dancing around on her way to the ring, and it just kind of looks like Jade's a little bit irritated. I don't know if I just interpreted that wrong, or if that was intentional, accident, I don't know. To me, Jade looked a little bit irritated during their entrance. During Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell's entrance, we see how the match came to be, where they went in to see Nick Aldis earlier in the day and ended up getting a match where they just wanted to complain, I think. Right as the match is about to start, right as the match is starting, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, the unholy union, show up at ringside. This distracts Bianca pretty much right away, and that allows Indy Hartwell to take control. We then see that Shayna and Zoe are coming down the ramp as well to watch the match from ringside. Bianca tries to suplex Candice, but Candice turns it into a small package for a near fall. Bianca hits a standing moonsault for a near fall of her own, and Candice and Indy hit a double team move, and Indy does Jade's pose as we head into a commercial break. When we come back from the commercial break, Candice has control over Bianca, and Jade finally gets the hot tag and takes both Candice and Indy down. Jade hits a pop-up super kick for a near fall, but Candice saves the match. Jade and Bianca hit their DDT German suplex combo to win, and Jade and Bianca apparently think that they're safe since they won and start celebrating and go up on the turnbuckles. And it's at this point that Unholy Union and Shayna and Zoe attack them again, just like on Monday Night Raw.
Rinse, wash, repeat.
Yep. After taking out Jade and Bianca, Shayna grabs one title, and I do not recall which member. I want to say it was Alba Fire grabbed the other tag title, and the two teams just kind of stood there like trying to grab the other title, and they ended up just throwing titles down and brawling until Jade and Bianca could come in and take them all out. It culminated with Alba Fire getting hit with a Jaded while Isla Dawn got hit with a KOD. We then head backstage once again to see that Cody is still waiting for AJ to arrive. And Nick Aldis walks up and basically tries to get Cody to stop waiting there, but it doesn't work. And then Johnny Gargano comes out for his match against Grayson Waller. And before we head into a commercial break, when we come back from commercial break, we're told that the 6-man tag has been made official for the main event. So that'll see the Bloodline taking on Street Profits and Kevin Owens. And then we are taken backstage where Sarah Schreiber is with Apollo Crews. Apollo barely gets to say anything before Angel comes in and the rest of Legado, and they attack him before officials break up the fray. Nick Aldis comments about how there goes one of the matches for the night. And then LA Knight shows up and wants to know where Logan Paul is.
Yeah.
Nick Aldis informs Knight that Logan Paul is away playing Tetris. And Carmelo Hayes walks up. Melo says LA is always talking about a guy that isn't here, but Melo is here, and he's been cooking him the last 3 weeks. Clearly, Melo forgot that he fumbled his lines last week and proceeded to get cooked by LA Knight.
And is now getting it cooked again.
LA Knight gets Nick Aldis to make the match for them because there's 2 competitors right there that could fill that match need. And Melo doesn't seem too enthused about the match, but he gets it anyway. After Carmelo Hayes kind of like just storms off, Nick Aldis says something along the lines of he'll learn eventually or something like that. But now it's...
With the megastar.
Yeah. But now it's time for Johnny Gargano and Grayson Waller finally, because this whole time Johnny Gargano has just been chilling in the ring with Tommaso Ciampa with his music playing. At this point, what's been like 7 minutes. So, I mean, I imagine anybody in the crowd is probably sick of that song.
They've all got earplugs in.
They've all went and used the restroom and came back, and it's like, oh, he's still just sitting here? Oh, okay.
You could have had the shits and got back in time.
Yeah.
The match.
It's a back and forth start to the match. Like, very back and forth. The first few minutes is just nothing but back and forth. Gargano ends up hitting a sliced bread on the outside using the apron to push off of, but he doesn't get proper rotation and he lands right on his face. Hey guys, it's okay. I'll use my face to break my fall.
It's not the falling that hurts, it's the sudden stopping.
Yeah, the sudden stop at the end. Yeah. Following the sliced bread, we get a commercial break. When we come back, Grayson Waller has taken control. Gargano fights back into it and hits a slingshot spear for a near fall. Waller hits a fireman's carry spinebuster and gets a 2 count of his own out of it. Gargano counters an Alabama slam into a Canadian destroyer, which looked absolutely sick. But Waller rolls out of the ring.
That was a pretty good move right there that I saw. I was like, damn.
Yeah, it was something. But so after Waller rolled out of the ring, Gargano went for the S dive, but Waller pulled Austin Theory into the line of fire. So Theory gets hit with the S dive from Gargano. Waller does not. Waller then sends Gargano into the post before rolling him back into the ring and hitting him with the flipping unprettier to win the match. In the post-match, Waller celebrates while Theory just kind of looks at him, looking very upsetty.
Here comes the face turn.
I don't know about face turn. I just think they're going to split. I don't know that I could ever take Austin Theory as a face.
I think he's going face.
He's just got one of those faces that I don't think that I could ever get behind. We then see backstage that Cody is still waiting for AJ, but Nick Aldis shows up again, this time with some security, because AJ Styles called him and said that he'll be arriving, or that he is like pulling up to the building. We then head to commercial break, so clearly he wasn't pulling up, because when we came back from commercial, he still wasn't there. But they do pull up, and AJ Styles starts taunting Cody through the sunroof of the SUV, which I laughed at.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
Gallows and Anderson get out of the SUV and get between Cody and the SUV, and security is also stopping Cody. So,
what good brothers.
Yeah, a couple good brothers right there. So since Cody couldn't get to AJ, he just turns around and walks right on out to the ring. No music, no pyro, nothing. Like, aside from the cost of having Cody Rhodes appear, I could have afforded this. They did not just spend my entire year's salary on pyro this week.
I was going to say not yet, but I guess the whole show they didn't really use pyro.
Yeah. Well, I mean, typically Cody Rhodes gets a good amount.
Yeah. Like, this is costing too much money. We can't do it anymore.
So Cody goes out to the ring and he calls AJ out. The OC come out and security flood the ramp to stay between them. AJ gives us his best Batista impression and tells Cody to give me what I want.
You know what I want, Hunter, and you will give it to me.
Yeah. Channeling the inner Batista.
Hell yeah.
So, Cody gives AJ Styles the title match at Clash at the Castle, but he adds the stipulation that he's going to make AJ say what AJ should have said last week, and that is, I quit. Also, Cody Rhodes was really, like, making Tamatanga noises. Like, backstage. Yeah. Just trying to sound rabid. So, before we go any further, a Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles I Quit match. I can't imagine that Cody's going to lose for multiple reasons. First being that it's only his third title defense. Second being that it's AJ Styles again. And we'll throw in a third one, and that being that Cody is the biggest draw in the company right now. There's no way that they have
until
him
Roman
lose an I Quit
back,
match.
I guess. And then it'll be split.
What now?
I said he's the biggest draw until Roman gets back, from what it seems like.
Well, we'll see. But, so I'm assuming that AJ Styles quits. But that poses the question. Is this how we get one last AJ Styles run in TNA?
I don't know.
They've established a working relationship. Jordan Grace just fought Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship yesterday at the UFC Apex at NXT Battleground.
They're probably going to do a crossover with the TNA Championship.
Well, right. Like, Dana Brooke.
And AJ's the perfect person because he's worked in both companies, and
yeah, AJ made his name.
To his old AJ of TNA.
AJ made his name in TNA. But like,
even the Good Brothers worked in TNA.
Yeah, but not nearly as much as AJ.
No, but they still worked there.
But like at Battleground, Jordan Grace obviously was there. They had Ash by Elegance, formerly known as Dana Brooke, had an appearance during the women's match. And Brooks Jensen has hinted about having to go somewhere to make an impact.
The Impact Zone.
Yeah. What's Jooks Benson doing in the Impact Zone?
What the hell is his name? He used to be a WWE commentator too. I can't remember his name.
Who are you thinking of?
He's a TNA guy, but he used to be WWE.
I mean, that's like a lot of people.
Stuff. I can't remember.
I mean, they've got Mustafa Ali is in NXT or TNA now. He's the X Division champion.
Yep. With a really good character.
What's that?
With a really good character that works.
Well, yeah, I've heard that he's got it in his contract. Something about him not being able to lose a match. It's something weird where he's got it in his contract specifying conditions that have to be met before he loses a match.
WWE.
Oh, absolutely.
You guys want me? I'm not losing another damn
absolutely.
match.
WWE buried this man so hard that he's just like, you know what? Never again. But, yeah, so I'm definitely curious if this I Quit match is a stunt to get AJ Styles a short run back down in TNA.
Could be.
Or as it possibly soon becomes NXTNA. Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace had it on the back of her jacket when she came out to the ring.
I saw.
NXTNA.
I saw.
Anyway, back to SmackDown. Nick Aldis approves of the I Quit match, and Cody starts fighting through security, but they eventually get him stopped, and while they have him pinned down, AJ Styles takes advantage and hits Cody with a forearm to take us into a commercial break.
Just admire all the future WWE superstars that are going to be world champion one day.
Yeah.
In that
picture.
picture.
Somewhere in there is a most likely future WWE champion.
Yep.
When we come back from commercial break, we get shown the graphic. So AJ versus Cody is officially official for Clash at the Castle. We then hear from Byron Saxton, who has Jade and Bianca as they're leaving Nick Aldis' office. They announce that it'll be a triple threat for the women's tag titles at Clash at the Castle, as they will take on Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, as well as Unholy Union in a triple threat, as I said already.
Just a bunch of random tag teams that there's no story with, really.
I mean, it's the start of a story. You can't just snap your fingers and a story exists out of nowhere. It has to start somewhere. And they're at least putting somewhat of a story around the women's tag titles finally. It's only taken them, checks notes, 5 years? So,
yeah.
I mean, it's good that it seems like they might actually start trying to care at least a little bit. Or at least give the illusion that they care. But
yeah.
Now it's time for Carmelo Hayes versus L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
Melo takes control early, but L.A. slams him off the, or he slams his face off the announce table 6 times. And following this, Carmelo Hayes kind of pushes LA Knight back into the apron. And when he goes to throw LA Knight over the announce table, LA stops himself. And Melo charges him and gets a backdrop onto the announce table, followed by some punches for his efforts as we head into a commercial break. When we come back, Carmelo Hayes is taking control, though. And Melo gets a near fall off of a Spring Lord. Jesus Christ. But, no comment?
Nope.
Not gonna lie, I was expecting to just see you leave the chat.
Just no comment. It's not that atrocious yet.
But Carmelo Hayes gets a 2 count off of a springboard clothesline. And LA Knight ends up taking control. But Melo hits a tilt-a-whirl facebuster for another near fall. And dodges the Megastar elbow. And hits a small package for another near fall. They trade blows before LA Knight.
Yeah.
Hits a pop-up power slam, followed by the Megastar elbow. And LA goes for the BFT, but Melo counters it into a schoolboy roll-up with a fistful of tights. But LA gets it countered and turns it into a pin of his own to pick up the win. Following the match, LA calls out Logan Paul and tells him that if he don't want to come to SmackDown, that he'll bring SmackDown to him. So next week, somehow, when everyone else is in Scotland, LA Knight's going to be tracking down Logan Paul somewhere in the States, I would imagine. We then see backstage, Tiffany Stratton comes walking up to Nia, and Tiffany tells Nia that she has her back. I guess she also says that Nia was her pick to win, other than herself, of course. She also calls herself the Princess of the Ring, and says that they would make a good team, and tells Nia to think about it. Nia doesn't seem all that opposed to the idea of having a partner. A partner in
just a little
crib.
sidekick.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Could be interesting to see how it goes. Once Tiffany walks away, and Nia turns and starts walking, and Michin steps to Nia, and Nia tells her to take a page from AJ Styles' playbook and actually retire. In response to this, Michin throws a drink in Nia's face, and they brawl. I noted that Nia slips on the drink, or slips in like the puddle of the drink on the floor twice that I could see, as officials separate them. We then get a flashback of the last 2 weeks for Bayley. Basically like beating Chelsea Green, and then the tag match last week. And then Bayley comes out. But first, a commercial break. When we come back from the break, Piper and Chelsea interrupt Bayley pretty much immediately. And Chelsea calls Bayley and the audience all losers. Bayley says that Piper doesn't need Chelsea Green and that she respects Piper. Bayley also talks about having seen Piper in the Mae Young Classic, which took place in 2016, I believe. Piper later brings that up and mentions that she's been competing since 2008, I believe.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
Yeah. So the Mae Young Classic was nowhere near her beginning. Bayley says that she's going to beat Piper in her home country, but Piper responds by reading her Wikipedia page, basically. Like, just, telling Bayley and everyone else everything she's done in her career. I also noted that there's some people with one of those obnoxious giant face signs in the crowd. And I saw that and was instantly unreasonably irritated because I just don't see the point to them. Like, if you're going to bring a sign, at least make it relevant. Nobody wants to see your stupid kid's face. Plain and simple.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. Nobody wants to see your stupid face. Nobody wants to see your stupid kid's face.
Now, had it been Chris Benoit.
Get out.
Huh?
Get the fuck out.
Huh? You got out too. Oh, thank you.
Shut up. We're then told.
See, though.
What?
Sorry, on the Chris Benoit thing, I did see the other day that somebody, when they were doing the Thunderdome or whatever the hell they were calling it, that on one of the screens as the quote-unquote audience, someone put Chris Benoit's picture up there.
Oh yeah, people did all kinds of weird shit.
Simpler times back then.
Yeah. Better times. Didn't have to deal with people. Oh, it was so nice. People didn't invade your personal space because they were afraid of dying to the flu.
It was 6 feet, not 3 feet.
Yeah, can we go back to that? Like, everybody just stay 6 feet
No,
away from me.
because
You know
that's
what?
when
Make
Walmart
it 12.
went to shit.
I mean, Walmart's always been shit.
Yeah, but then
we just got older.
24-hour.
Yeah, I mean, nothing is 24 hours anymore since COVID.
Stupid.
We're suddenly notified that Logan Paul has responded to LA Knight.
Yeah.
Basically, Logan Paul cuts a promo and just absolutely cooks LA Knight here.
Let him cook.
But after this, Kevin Owens comes out for the match, and he knocks over the oversized Prime bottle from the hydration station. I thought that was funny.
Thank God.
And then the Street Profits come out, and we head into a commercial break. When we come back from commercial, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven are walking to Nick Aldis' office. He's outside of his office talking to Naomi, and Naomi is saying that she wants in the Money in the Bank match, basically. Naomi then confronts Chelsea about the things that Chelsea said out by the ring. And Nick Aldis makes a match for next week. And then we get the rundown of everything that's scheduled for next week. That being Naomi versus Chelsea Green, Mi Chin versus Nia Jax, and the Grayson Waller effect with special guests, DIY. What could go wrong there?
I guess we'll find out next week on SmackDown.
Yeah, we'll find out next week as they're in Scotland. Oh yeah, I also want to note that Piper Niven was making a comment about getting an Iron Brew fountain.
I'm getting an Iron Brew fountain.
The only reason I know what Iron Brew is because of the Crazy Scotsman videos.
Oh, yeah. I know that.
Love those videos. Hilarious. But it's time for the main event, and that's Kevin Owens and the Street Profits taking on the Bloodline. The commentary, I can't remember if it was Graves or Barrett, talks about how Solo went from being the enforcer to now the head of the table. And it was ironic that they mentioned that because Solo's shorts still say enforcer on them. Almost like he's not actually the head of the table.
Weird.
Angelo Dawkins and Tama Tonga start the match, and the Street Profits take control early. Montez Ford mocks the Bloodline by doing the chattering thing that Tama was doing a couple weeks ago. Yeah. He hit like a clothesline or something and then got up and looked at him and started doing that. I found that funny. I find a lot of what Montez Ford does to be funny. Like, Street Profits deserve better than what they get most of the time.
I mean, if they can't win, they might as well be funnier.
So, yeah. I mean, Bianca's a main event player, so can't have everything.
If women don't find you handsome, at least they can find you handy. What? Dramatic long pause.
What, did you not see that I left?
No.
Oh, yeah, I left.
My Discord.
I left the chat.
Oh, I didn't see it. You're just sitting there. I was like, what the hell is he doing?
No, I left the chat. Anyway, Guerrillas of Destiny take control.
Why not the Bloodline?
Because they're the team within the Bloodline. When the Usos tagged, you didn't call them just the Bloodline. You called them the Usos. They're just also part of the Bloodline. Yeah. Oh. Don't you hate it when I come at you with them straight facts?
Stop coming out with the fire facts.
Solo tags in when Montez Ford is sending, I believe it was Tonga Loa, over his head and out of the ring. And Solo drops down and grabs Ford's legs and drags him out of the ring before throwing him into the barricade to take us into a commercial break. When we come back, Solo has taken control over Montez Ford. Solo hits a Samoan drop for a near fall. Tama Tonga hits 2 sliding clotheslines before pinning Montez Ford after a delay, and he also gets a near fall. Kevin Owens finally gets the hot tag and takes out Tonga Loa before taking the fight to Solo. Kevin Owens hits a swanton for a near fall, and I just realized here and noted, why is everybody wearing black and red? Like, both teams, everybody's wearing black and red.
I don't know, man. I don't make the rules. That's like sending the Packers and Eagles to Brazil and telling them that they can't wear any sort of green. They're going to wear green. Just like they're going to wear red.
But the Bloodline, it makes sense. The Street Profits have worn multiple other colors besides red. Kevin Owens has worn multiple other colors besides red.
I don't know why he doesn't wear blue, but what do I know?
They could have both, or like the Street Profits and Kevin Owens could have been wearing blue, but instead they're wearing black and red. And I know that in my notes for, I think it was last week, I had remarked that whoever thought that having the Street Profits wear red this week was a good idea needs to be reevaluated. Because
for a severe head injury.
Well, typically you don't have the people in the same match that are opposing each other wear the same color. Like, that's not uncommon knowledge.
True.
Anyway, back to the match. Kevin Owens dodges a Samoan spike and hits a stunner, but God pull Kevin Owens out of the ring, and Ford flies doing that nice dive over the ring post to take everyone out. Well, almost everyone, because Solo Sikoa hits Montez Ford with a steel chair to end the match in DQ before the real fight ensues.
Bunch of thugs.
Yep. Angelo Dawkins ends up eating a Samoan spike, and Solo hits a spear on Montez Ford. Not a Samoan spike,
yeah.
a spear. Kevin Owens tries to fight back, but is no match for the number game. The Bloodline ends up hitting the triple power bomb, Shades of the Shield, to...
Here we go.
Yeah, man, here we freaking go. And they do this on Kevin Owens, putting him through the announce table, and then stand tall over him as the show ends. I liked the triple powerbomb spot. I feel like that's going to come into play more frequently and will end up being a storyline piece.
Yep. And then Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns all come back to reform. No, it's not going to happen, but...
Nah, I mean, I don't think we see Dean Ambrose in WWE. I think he's probably very bitter towards the company, and I don't know that he'll ever come back.
But that was a Vince thing, not a Triple H. Everyone said the same thing
I know,
about Punk.
I'm not closing the door entirely. I'm leaving it cracked, but I'm not expecting it to be opened. I mean, maybe in the future, because I'm sure they'd want to induct the Shield into the Hall of Fame. So maybe in the future, that's when he finally returns, is for a Hall of Fame thing. But I don't know. I don't know that we see Dean Ambrose return. I think Jon Moxley is way too happy.
Yeah, he gets to do what he wants to do. His hardcore matches anyways.
I mean, I will say that they got me at Mania. They definitely got me when they hit the Shield's music. Even though I knew that he was still under contract with AEW, in like my mind went there and it's like, no way, they got Ambrose. And then it was just Seth to do nothing but get beat.
Eat a chair shot.
Yeah, eat a Superman punch and a chair shot, and then have to be helped to the back because dude was in so much pain. That concludes the SmackDown recap. Once again, I've been Dylan Graives. He's been John Sutton. If you want to support WrestleRecap, you can like, share, and subscribe. You can comment down below and tell us how we're doing. Till next time, you can click the video on the screen. It's probably outdated by now, but, you know, helps us out. Until next time, goodbye.